Hello, everybody. I'm so excited for today's guest. She has, Alana and I met at a wine and woo, but then it was like instant sisterhood from the second we laid eyes on each other. At least that was my vibe. And as such, and since then, she has been guiding me through some of the most impactful work I've done on a spiritual level. I've worked with many, many different psychics and different healers and different woo types. But for me, Alana has shifted perceptions and has helped me. I don't want to call it eradication of old stories and patterns, but ultimately that's what it feels like to me. She's taught me how to do a technique called breathwork, and as well has helped me to find inner stillness. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you might find me in outer stillness too. But Alana is a trained and certified trauma therapist, and now she is all over the world. Today we are talking to her. She's in Bali. 2 minutes ago she was in Australia. She's a brave lady traveling the world at this time right now, and she is coming to us just to teach us as well more techniques, more tools for us in this time period, because this isn't going to be called the Great Depression. This is going to be called the Great Awakening. And I really get the sense that this time period is about our Great Awakening. And so the people that I am bringing to you guys every week are people like Alana, who can help us unwrap, unfold, unburden, and just really become awake in ourselves and start telling the truth all the way through and through. So with that introduction, let me hand it off to my girl, Alana.
Ooh. I'm going to ride those yummy vibes, and thank you, because like your energy right now, Willow, is so beautiful, is so positive, it's so like infectious. And so this is what we need to really pay really close attention to, is the energy of what we're projecting and putting out, and then the energy of like how that impacts us. Because I'm watching so many people right now going into isolation, hunkering down with people, fear. It's just, it is the collective field that we are in. So we have to be so attuned, so aligned to other people's energies impacting our own. And the biggest energy that's impacting us is information and overwhelm with information. So much fucking information that you cannot tune into your own body or listen to your own heart. And the primary guidance that you need to be juicing into, settling into, and trusting above fucking anything is your heart, is your intuition, your own inner guidance. So all that noise, like for sure, like it's just going to be a part of the way that we are interacting. It's our culture, and we're all trying to feel safe. And the biggest thing is it's going to trigger this whole epidemic, everyone's projections, everyone's statistics and analyzations of where it's going. Everyone is grasping for the known, like how do we know that we're okay? And when we break that down, knowing that we're okay is literally just a sensation that you and only you can produce in your own body. So when fear and all this uncertainty is in our face every day with every new article that we get sent, or every person checking in on you or whatever, you're getting triggered from a place that's like, it's your childhood wounding. It's the trauma that you experienced. The collective is in a very disproportionate trigger to what's happening right now, actually.
Well, and I do notice it is that unknown that seems to be really, I think that even more than the information, it's like that unknown is what's up for everybody. Something I've noticed, Alana, and I'll be curious if you want to tune into this later as well, is I have seen multiple people with one eye being more bloodshot. I've seen swollen eyes on people, like actual welts forming on people's eyes. One girl stepped on a rake and the rake kicked back and hit her in the eye. And my hit on this is like, because the unknown, because we're so uncomfortable with this unknown, we are unknowingly trying to see so hard into the future that we're bursting our vessels in our eyes, and all this stuff is coming out through our eyes because we are not in trust with our own selves, that we're going to be, you know, for the most part, okay collectively. And if we can settle back in here and stop trying to project so far, that we can get a little more stillness in that. So I don't know if that's an interruption to your thought, but I just had to add it because it's so
great, because what's happening is like we're projecting into the future. We're trying to see what's going to happen. Will we be safe? And again, that the old paradigm way of looking at that is through logic. And
rational.
The world through the mind, you will never fucking get it, because it's like, how could we ever fix this, right? So what we need to do, and what the new paradigm is, and what, you know, I try and really allow people to tune into, as you do, is the heart, the guidance from the intuition, which is listening to the soul, which is like opening to the field, and more than just a 3D level, right? So we're not just seeing what's in front of us, we're seeing through the lens of the heart.
Yeah.
So can you come back to center and start to see through the lens of the heart? Because all is possible in the lens of the heart. You know, there's inspiration, there's creativity, there's love. We're in the love field in that place where, again, someone can come up with a cure tomorrow in that lens.
No. And
statistics, it's like, oh, we can't, nothing will ever change. Like, our trajectory, and that's how it is, and we're fucked.
Yeah. But I see that too. I keep seeing the same thing, as like, in terms of timing, what the hit that I keep getting is, we're going to be more upset if we don't enjoy this time, because it might be over before we realize it. And like right now we're staring down this, what might be 8 weeks, what might be 3 months, what might be, and they keep projecting further, and that's where the fear of unknown comes in. And I keep getting, well, shit, bitches, we gotta fucking rise up in this moment and enjoy this. Like, we may never be given another pause button.
Totally.
I mean,
hello, like, if you're getting triggered, if your anxiousness is coming up, if your anxiety is there, and you find yourself caught in loops in the mind and anxiety, then that's your red flag. And this is the place where it's like your body, your emotional body, is screaming to you, I don't feel safe.
Yeah.
So we get to then, with, you know, certain techniques, and maybe people, the gap is that people don't know how to do this, because it's like we never got taught emotional mastery. So we have to create the link of, okay, so if I can sit with that sensation in my body, and I cannot identify with it, I don't become it, I don't believe fully that it's true, but I look at that sensation, the actual physical sensation, and I start to sink into it, and I start to relax into it. And this is how the breath work really helps. And the work that we've been doing is just, how do I drop in and tune into that feeling of panic or fear, so that I get to surrender into the portal of what this emotion is trying to tell me about the place that I don't feel safe or secure in my life. And when we can get there, man, massive breakthroughs on deep wounding that you wouldn't normally have access to. So it's a beautiful time to get that support to sink in, to go deeper, and then to allow those emotions and ask them what they're about, ask them what they need. When did they form? You know, just get curious about what's going on in your emotional body. And then as you sink into it, instead of distracting, resisting, looking outward for the answer, then we come to a place of a deeply settled peace that you have never known. The answers on the outside will not make you feel safe, because you're always searching, and the only consistent, beautiful place is here inside of you, when you can rest into and feel not afraid of your sensations and your experience, and then nurture it, nourish it, right?
I had a conversation yesterday with a mama who was she was asking me intuitively what I would suggest her daughter, who's in high school, is obviously not going to get to go to prom, is likely not going to get to have her graduation ceremony, is likely going to miss out on those really important days. I mean, that's what we all have made a really big deal about this time period in kids' life. So it's a big deal to lose. And her daughter was really upset, and she's like, I'm trying to hold the house right here energetically. I can't go down here. And I was like, no, girl, we got to go down with and be available and be open to have these feelings. And something that I really just want to honor you with is that you've really taught me in that to go into the vibes, to go into the feelings and allow them to just fully encompass me. And one of the hits that I've had as well in that is like, if we can unzip and unmask this aspect of ourselves and stop, like, we're all living with our spouses and kids and sometimes grandparents and such right now in these times. Somebody's going to fart in the room. And that also means somebody's going to pick their nose in the room. And it means that somebody is going to cry and somebody's going to have a bad day and be angry. And if we can allow it and not try to bypass it and actually go into it, imagine how much more we can love each other. Because that, I think, is the divider, is like every time we distract or move away from it, we're suggesting that we don't trust the people around us any more than we trust ourselves.
Right. Because they can't hold it, because I can't hold it.
Right.
We're so taught that, like, to be uncomfortable with other people's emotions, or to think that other people are going to be really uncomfortable with ours. So we go cry in our room by ourselves. So we get angry. We don't get angry, honestly. We suppress it, and then, it comes out backwards or ass sideways, and you're kind of then feel shame about it or whatever. Those are all our little patterns of the way that we discount the importance of really learning how to have healthy expression of our emotion. And I just want to make that distinction for people. When you said, like, go down with the house, it means go deep into the feeling of that she's feeling, not others, right? She's not going to take on her daughter's feelings for her, but she's masking, if she is, and this is just an example, but don't mask that you're stressed out, that you're having a hard time. Sink into the sensations of it and allow the feeling. That sensation will rise and it will fall. And this is the beauty of emotion. It means nothing about you. Mm-hmm. It's just a physical experience. And if you let it go up and come down, it leaves your body. And if you don't tell any stories about the fact that it means something about you, that you're not holding the light, or you're holding it all together, you don't have your shit together, and you've got to be this and the doer and everything's okay. Those stories, they take you into a place of deeper dissonance with your own presence. Mm-hmm. And therefore you're not fully showing up for fucking anybody, because you're not showing up for, right?
Right. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I feel like this is
fired up. I just swear.
Yes, you can. Please swear all the time. Well, that was something that I said yesterday that came out in a reading as well, was that, yes, please feel free to go meditate, pillow top, palms up. Please feel free to chill and try to find mindful practices in this time, but also feel free to be angry. Feel free to express your grief. Feel free to be mad and scared. And if you need to yell fuck you at the top of your lungs, then please, dear God, yell fuck you, because that's the container that we're in right now, is all the mistruths, all the petty lies we tell ourselves, our spouses, our families about being okay, don't have room in this container right now.
Right. And what a gift to see that.
Right. The great awakening.
Right. Because that's the awakening, is that all of me is okay here. All of me is accepted here. And I can hold my partner or my child in their emotion and not try to fix it or change it or feel responsible for it. We honor the other person when we let them know that I feel like you are able enough and regulated enough to deal with your own emotions. But I can stand here and hold you and not take it personally. I see that you're angry. Yeah, you can totally get angry today, right?
Totally, totally.
That we have to, it's the new way of parenting anyway. But FYI, we didn't learn how to do that, so we got to start doing that with ourselves and our partners and our family. I'm like, yeah, you get to be in a bad mood today. I'm not going to take it personally. This is the biggest part.
Yeah. And like, let's talk to that because, with all the humans being in relatively close quarters, I think that is the misnomer and the piece that so many of us are always dealing with is feeling as if you and I are at a different level. So I'm trying to put this in space where everybody can understand it in the context, but like, in case you haven't figured it out, your partner's not here to necessarily recognize you, see you, and validate you, though you might be holding them accountable to that and expecting them to rise on your behalf so that you feel better on the inside. This is one of those time periods where all of that too gets sort of crushed, and we collectively, each of us are responsible for making ourselves happy and or letting ourselves be sad and not expecting somebody else to heal or help or fix. And so on those days, when you take responsibility for your emotions, you then also have to give that same consideration to the person standing across from you for them to have their emotions and their experience, and let them do it ugly if you're going to allow yourself to do it ugly, and then don't expect them to pick it up. And don't get mad if they don't know how to, I guess is the other piece. They're not going to know how to. Yeah.
Like this is such a foreign concept to some people, right? We don't just start to do it and then think that by osmosis, the other person is understanding what we're doing. We have a conversation about it, because the best way to stay in right relationship with the people around you all the time, I mean, now especially because you might be closer, but is to set up the way that you want to do conflict, the way that you want to do emotion. And you get to say, like, let's have a healthy container for this, where if you're having a bad day, just say, I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling tightness in my stomach. Name what's happening for you. And then ask me to hold space for you, or ask me to just be like, hey, don't take it personally. And when you say that, I have to actually not take it personally. And then vice versa. I have to name my feelings that way. I have to say, I'm a little edgy today. I'm feeling kind of sticky, kind of raw, kind of sad. I've got fear and it's making me act this way. So we have to have a heightened awareness of what's happening for us on the inside. And that's, again, it's like this time calls for more of an emotional maturity to happen.
Honesty. And honesty.
Or go bust.
Right.
Or I mean, there's a couple choices going on, but the beautiful thing is that we do have a choice to take a step onto the growth path, onto the what's the word I'm looking for? Expansion. We have such a deep opportunity for expansion right now, and health and more intimacy in our relationships. And if you're alone, right? So many people are alone. That's this way of letting that loneliness or whatever's coming up for you, or that lack of reflection in another, notice where that brings you. Notice how much you use other people to regulate you, and do all the things, reach out, have all the Zoom parties and all the things, dance parties. I've actually seen some really awesome DJs.
So many good things are coming out of this. I know.
Which is great. But if that sensation of panic or fear or just loneliness or whatever is there, that's when you lay your ass down, do some breath work. Maybe we'll put the link in for the 15-minute breath work.
Please.
Do whatever. And then let your body just sink into the feeling and explore it, so it doesn't hijack you. And then you spend hours distracting on social media, feeling anxious, moving around the house, and you lay your ass down and you go in, and then it cycles through and you are connected again and you are aligned again, and you feel peace, and you feel like you learned from those feelings or those stories that you're telling yourself about being alone, right? Because that's so many people's experience right now.
So, because I do want to put that link in, and I was going to ask you for it anyway, can you speak about breathwork? Because a lot of the people here are going to be very new to this. And I know if you hadn't been there to maybe hold my hand the first time, it's a really bizarre, awesome, amazing, foreign, special. I want it for everybody. It's like if you could have multiple orgasms all day long, guys. That's how great this is. So can you tell everybody, but also tell them the other side of breathwork, the pieces that are uncomfortable as well, because I don't want them to have any misconceptions as to what this is.
And it's not always a comfortable, it's actually, very mixed. So the experiences are a big variation. So what breathwork does, this isn't pranayama, this isn't like yogic breath or something like that. This is a transformational breathwork. It's a way to breathe, and we breathe for an extended amount of time, just laying down or sitting up, in a pattern that starts to over oxygenate your body. So you're actually getting in, you're alkalizing the body, we're getting in more CO2 so that the CO2 exchange creates more oxygen within the body. So we're over oxygenating the body. And that's not a bad thing. Like the over oxygenation is so amazing for your immune system. Again, alkalizing, pH balancing the blood. So all those like physical benefits. And I use it because I have an autoimmune disorder of my thyroid, and it takes my inflammation symptoms down 80%. Like I actually had brain scans done. I was part of a study. And so the science of how to take inflammation down in your body, how to stay well, you don't need anything. I mean, you do all the other things, but here's one of the major amazing tools is that you can do this for free anytime. It's your body's ability to heal itself. And that's the beauty of breath work. This practice has healed me on so many levels, has healed so many of my clients on so many levels. So we breathe in a breath pattern. It's simple, but what starts to happen is, you're breathing a lot. Like, so you get a little lightheaded. We usually lay down so you don't feel dizzy. And it takes off the cortical control. So cortical control is the part of your primal brain, your mind, that comes in and keeps you thinking and analyzing and, what's the word I'm looking for? Just looking for safety, right?
Right. You're right. Rationalizing, judging, doing all the things. Like
the
task
part of your
oriented.
Just like vigilant for fear, or like for something that's unsafe. So when we take that and we kind of quiet it, and the breath kind of just takes that offline by really kicking in the parasympathetic system. So it's just like we're going into a deep, relaxed, meditative state. And then the body starts to get to really touch into the right brain, the emotional side. That opens up, and we're highlighting and getting more oxygen in more parts of the brain. So a lot more brain activity comes online, which means creativity, visuals. The body starts to have different physical sensations. So they can vary from tingling, cramping in your hands even, and sometimes even your hands can get fully cramped and get tetany. And you can't move them, they lock. And so some people get a little nervous there because it's a weird feeling. You're totally safe, it's completely fine. And in the 15-minute breath work that I'm giving you guys,
you're not gonna have that.
Yeah, like most likely that's not gonna be the case unless you're breathing really hard on the exhale. So anyway, I'll talk about the technique in a minute. So when that primal brain shuts off and all that protectiveness of like, which is a great thing, like we need protection, but in our world, in our culture, what has happened is our negative mind space, that protective mind, has started to perceive everything as threat. Everything. We live in a culture that breeds us into this place of being separate from everything, afraid of everything. We want everything to be the same, predictable. We don't understand chaos anymore, and chaos is actually the root of creativity. So it's okay, to like let that brain chill out and stop over analyzing everything. And it just takes a break. It takes like a little nap. And then we get access to our creative right brain, which can really open up that feeling of deep, deep connection. And that's not only connection with your body, but it also feels oftentimes like people have connections with their ancestors, with nature. It's a very shamanic, it's a very esoteric, and some say it's very psychedelic for them when we do longer breath works too, because what happens is in the pineal gland, in the center, like behind your eyes in the center of your brain, our gland of consciousness, it increases its secretions. And that's allowing us to have that beautiful kind of visual, we are kind of feeling the way that we're connected to everything. So again, it's kind of a nice way to have an altered state experience in a very natural, safe, controllable way. So that could be part of your experience, and it could not. Sometimes it's just a nice deep feeling of peace. And I've had, you know, like people from China do this for the first time in a culture that comes from very, very shut down. And they said that like they never knew that someone could like ever feel the way that they felt. They never knew that they could meditate, they said. They said they tried meditating a ton, but they never ever come close to accessing the feeling that they had accessed within 40 minutes of breath work.
It's amazing. And I concur with what Alana's saying. My experiences with her has brought in absolutely ancestors, guides, angels. I've had and granted, I'm already wired, like we're all wired for psychic and intuition, but I just use mine full time. So I am wired to catch some of those things, but just walking out of any breath work, I am lighter. It's like you unload all the energy, the frenetic energy, that fear energy as she's speaking about. Like it truly does just awaken sort of the safety aspect of ourselves and realizing that we can be more creative than what we've been offered.
Yeah. And another beautiful thing that it does is allow, so our trauma, our pent up stress, and our incomplete emotional reactions and responses that we've experienced in our lifetime, which is many, get stored in our nervous system. And so when we do breath work, we're also allowing the nervous system to discharge. So we're getting rid of all of that old storage, all that old stress. And that creates a lot more spaciousness in our thoughts and our ability to create new patterns rather than staying stuck in our primal brain hijacking us into the same pattern over and over. But that can also cause some shaking in your body. We have like weird shaking responses because that's what us as animals do. We shake to discharge our nervous system. So if that's happening for you, go with it. Go with it. It is such a gift, and you will feel, like Willow said, you know, so much lighter afterwards.
Yeah. That's the orgasmic part, guys. I think that's why I say like, this is like, you're definitely confronted as you begin because it feels different. It's nothing like, if you've never done it before, it's nothing like you've ever experienced before. And as soon as we're all allowed to see each other again in human, you're welcome to come do it with me, and I'll practice with you guys anytime you want. But in the meantime, trying this out as just an opportunity, again, when you're in that headspace of, I'm scared of what I don't understand. I'm fast forwarding the button. I'm hitting the future button, and I'm trying to figure out and create a solution for something I can't see. This is the perfect place to come, because what breath work is too, for me, is like, for somebody like me, I have a really fast-paced energy. I wouldn't call it frenetic. It's pretty grounded, but I just move quick. This allows me to get to meditate while still being in movement. It's like yoga, but better. So Alana, I'll hand it back to you on that. I don't need to sell it anymore.
Yeah, girl, it works. Yeah, it's definitely getting a lot more popular now. So it's easier to find workshops and practitioners and things like that. And I teach online, and I weave it into my therapy practice with everyone now. It's just completely apart because we can't separate the mind work from the body work from the soul work. This is a multi-dimensional healing that we are meant to be doing, especially at this time as we're shifting into a new age. And this heightens our consciousness. And then breathwork also really allows you to feel like what it actually means to tune into your intuition. You are never more intuitive than when you finish a breathwork session. I mean,
True.
wow, like you are connected. So the technique is, there's several different techniques, and it's just breath, you know. It's like we just basically want to connect the breath, inhale and exhale, exhale to inhale. So the way that I teach is an open mouth breath. And when you open the mouth, instead of doing it through the nose, it's for more calm and surrender. So if we're wanting to actually do it for more focus and awareness and like activation, we do it through the nose. But I teach through the mouth because what we really don't need more like focus and action. Like right now we need to chill out, and most oftentimes we're so undernourished and under relaxed. Softening into our feminine side is really hard for most everyone at this time. So we want to really practice that softening and tuning into the feminine flow. And this is for men and women. It's just the qualities of the feminine are surrender and trust and flow. And whether you're a man or woman, that is what we're needing to all heal at this time too. So that ability to be soft with ourselves, to find love for who you are. So as you do this, you drop the jaw. I always have people stretch it out. My jaw is always really tight. So it's like, stick your tongue out, make funny faces.
Do you want to try this?
Right? So just feel it there. And then,
guest.
Let's see your jaw stretch, Joey. And then we just breathe, inhale and exhale, but we do it when we're conscious that we're not breathing in the upper quadrant of our lungs. So it's not a short, constricted upper chest breath. It goes all the way down into our belly, rolls through the chest, and then comes out on the exhale. So it looks like this. You can kind of see my right. So my chest is staying relaxed, my body stays relaxed. And the way that I guide, I'm guiding you through the whole practice. So you feel really safe, really held, and you can kind of, you know, just know that if you forget, like you're going to get a cue to be reminded. But physiologically, some of the things that can happen is like your mouth will dry out, pretty sure it will dry out. And if it does, you just keep breathing through it, because your body is regulating itself. It's getting in more oxygen. It's just going to do its thing, and then it's going to be gone before you know it. And then again, like I said, you can feel the major tingling in the hands and the body. Your whole body, you can feel like, first time I did it, I thought it was Wonder Woman. I got up and I'm like, I can literally feel my hands. Like I couldn't believe how much energy was like pulsing through my hands and my arms. So it's okay to have those kinds of sensations. It can also really quickly bring up emotion, because what it does when we take the mind offline, the body is just trying to discharge, trying to have its emotional completions. It's just trying to heal itself. So you might well up with tears. You might feel like a scream coming out. And again, don't block it, like allow for it, go with it, because it's discharging from your body. This is the biggest gift you will get in your emotional health, is to express these emotions that are there, and don't judge them or try and shut them down. And then just flow with it. And there's going to be a point where you're not even really thinking about the breathing anymore. It's sort of like the breath starts to breathe you, right? So it takes over, and you just fall into a rhythm, and there's music, and you just kind of breathe. Sometimes we take the breath up, and you can breathe really quite like deeply and more quickly, and that will give you a bigger, more heightened experience. And then if you want a nice, subtle, soft experience, then it's just right, so slow, so gentle. And the bigger one is right? And then like, I'm already lightheaded from 3
I
breaths.
know. I always get that too.
Woohoo, here we go. Like, I love it.
And I'm good. But I definitely have been using breath work through this experience and through this time period, because it just does. And I think that, you know, one of the other reasons that I love bringing this to our folks is because for whatever fucking reason, this virus happens to do respiratory. And so to feel in control is to breathe in this capacity. That's what it's threatening, right? And so as long as you want to feel in control, this is another tool of control, but one that actually is a real sense of control. Like, we can't control what's going to happen an hour from now, but we can control what we're doing in the moments that we are feeling our feelings. And this is a great tool when we're in that high anxiety or we're in that worry, to find this spot and come into the breath.
For sure. Like 100%. And when you start to make this like a daily practice, then you're going to see like the stress levels, your cortisol levels, like everything comes down. And like anything, because this is another big thing that I promote in my programs and in what I teach, daily practice of anything. Just do a daily practice, because daily practice is something that starts to build a strong foundation. So when we're trying to learn a new skill and we're in crisis, guess what? It's not that easy. It's not like it, you know, it's not a magic pill that we take that works. Like, you have to become a devotee to your self-growth, to the nourishment of your soul and your body. This beautiful body temple that we were given is so precious, and it needs care and love. And the amount of stress that we feel, like, America is one of the most stressed out countries on the planet. So I spent 4 years traveling and living internationally and really realizing how I was
toxic.
Like matrix, where I thought I was, you know, so mindful and peaceful. And then I got out of America and was like, holy fuck, like, that's a really thick field that you guys are in. And so it's even more important, because you don't see that reflection in others, that you come to that place where you demand self-care for you, that you really look into the nourishment piece. How do I nourish myself on a daily basis? How do I remind myself to stay connected to something greater than me, like some sort of source that's divine? Because when you connect into that feeling, then all of a sudden everything within you just relaxes and realigns, and you have to find your center every day, right? Yeah, this is it's an important piece of just, you know, life maintenance, and a great time to learn it now, because we got some time, right?
Yeah. And I mean, not to discount all of our amazing people who are in the hospitals or work in the grocery stores or managing and maintaining our society on the outside. Like, I know that there are a lot of people who might be tuning into this and going, I don't have fucking time. And I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm so grateful you have a gig, and I'm so grateful you have something to do. And we're just all thinking about you as well as you're listening to this.
Oh my gosh.
For those of you bored and scared at home with your children, or all alone in your place of living and wishing you could be with all the humans, like, this is also for you. So
and this is, like, when you put, I'll just put this last little thing, like, you put this in your daily life now, 10-15 minutes, non-negotiable 10-15 minutes that are about you in the morning or before you go to bed. This will be a game changer for you after 1 week of doing that. And then you set a routine. So when you do that in the daily life and everyone gets too busy to, like, take care of themselves again, you know, then you don't let that waver. You know, it's full devotion to self, to love, right? So people who are working a lot right now, amazing, but make sure even more that they have those 15 minutes to drop in and have it be about them, and can't give from a completely depleted place. And I know so many of those people are getting so overworked and depleted, and they're constantly in this place of, you know, fear field. So, right on.
Oh, well, I'm just so grateful to get to have spent. It's my evening. It's your morning or mid-afternoon? Where are you? What time are you?
Or it's morning. It's 10:30.
It's 10:30. Yeah. So 10:30 Bali. It's more like 8:30 here in Colorado. But I love it. I love that we have interwebs and that we can meet our people wherever we are in the world. I will put all of Alana's links so that you guys can learn more about her, and we'll put for sure the link to get Breathwork so that you can go through this, because I think if you're not sold to at least try it, I don't know how much more we can give you to do it. But yes, please go check out Alana. She's got so many beautiful, amazing things coming up, and with hopes and prayers that we're all traveling again. She's got something coming up in Greece this summer. And then when is the next Bali? Is that September as well? The next Bali retreat?
No, Bali's not, I'm not having a retreat in Bali
It's
this
just
year.
going to be July's Greece, huh?
Greece, and then there's a mini one in Colorado that I'm announcing.
Oh.
Also, just because I had to cancel all my workshops, I'm going to be doing online webinars, which is really fun because those are full breathwork practices plus some Kundalini activation and just, you know, some soulful movement. And yeah, they're fun and deep. So
I love it. I love it so much. So good. So good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you've learned so much. I hope you've loved. If you guys have any questions for Alana or for myself, of course, reach out and email us, and I'll put all the information that you need in the link on the email. Thanks, you guys. Peace in.